Good morning. I'm Keitha Nelson here with First Coast News. Just want to sit down and chit chat with you guys a little bit about a trailer I just saw for the new Lifetime movie coming out about Kamiyah Mobley. It's about her story. The title of the movie is Stolen by My Mother, the Kamiyah Mobley Story. And I remember when I sat down with Kamiyah and her father about 2 years ago, I thought to myself, this all sounds like a movie. It was just such a bizarre story. For those of you who don't know, back in 1998, Kamiyah Mobley was stolen from a Jacksonville hospital at just 8 hours old, stolen by Gloria Williams, who is now serving 18 years in prison for kidnapping baby Kamiyah. Kamiyah was raised in Walterboro, South Carolina by Gloria Williams under the name Alexis Manigo. This baby girl was stolen from her 16-year-old mother, Shanara Mobley, 16 at the time. Shanara to this day is still, you could tell, in pain over all of this. Her relationship with her daughter is strained. Now, when I sat down with Kamiyah Mobley and Craig Aiken for an interview in 2018, this was a year after they were reunited, Kamiyah told me she was working on the relationship with her mother, trying to repair it, but it was difficult because Shanara feels as if she was betrayed by Kamiyah because she still kept in contact with Gloria Williams, who raised her as her mom. But when you sit down and think about this, it makes sense. I mean, this young lady who is about 21 right now, she was raised by Gloria Williams. Like, that's all she knew. That's the love that she received for her entire life. So that's who she associates as mom. And though Shanara is her biological mother, she kind of doesn't really know her. But again, it's a relationship they're working on, and I'll say time and time again, I'm praying for the best for that young lady and her biological mother. Again, Gloria right now is sitting in prison, as most of you say she should be, serving 18 years for the 18 years of life that she stole from Shanara Mobley. That relationship, again, will it ever be repaired? We just don't know. I'm reading a lot of your comments online under the article that I posted, and you're outraged. You're outraged, just like everyone has been for all these years. You know, I could tell you, I remember, so this happened back in 1998, but in 2017, that's when news broke that Kamiyah Mobley was found, again in Walterboro, South Carolina, and this newsroom erupted. I mean, those who were here during that time, they remember how huge of a deal this was here in Jacksonville, Florida. A baby being stolen from a hospital. How is that even possible? And that kind of set in motion chain reaction. I mean, there are so many rules and regulations in place now because of what happened to Kamiyah Mobley, her being kidnapped from the hospital here in Jacksonville. But you know, when I covered this story back then, I understood the nature of Gloria Williams' action. I knew it was gross, it was awful. But as a mother now, a new mom, my twins are 6 months old, I could not imagine having a child grow inside of me for all those months, bonding with that child, and then having someone steal your baby. When I tell you I was with Shanara before, I am with her 110% now. I don't mind giving my opinion about that, not one bit. What Gloria did was downright disgusting. Stealing someone's child. Though Shanara was just 16 years old, she is still a mother who loved her child, because I could tell you, due to interviews that I've done, she was young, but she was looking forward to raising her baby girl. I mean, Shanara had a really rough upbringing here in Jacksonville, but she was willing to do what she had to do, like so many of us do, to make ends meet, to raise her child. She was excited about that baby. Craig even told me he remembers how excited Shanara was to have their baby girl, who was ultimately taken from them. Now, I want to go into one of the comments that I saw from one of you online. This is from Deborah Blackman. She said, I have so many mixed feelings about this case. While what the kidnapper did was a crime, the child was raised in a loving family. That's true. And that's another side of this that many of you have been saying for many years, is that though Gloria Williams kidnapped Kamiyah, stole someone's child, at least she raised her in a loving home. And we're saying this just based on testimony. We don't know. We weren't raised with her. We weren't inside of her home. We're just saying this based on what we're being told. Photos that we've seen, videos that we've seen of the two together. I don't think that we can question whether or not Kamiyah loved Gloria, because clearly she did. She's in touch with her to this day. She loved this woman that she knew as mom. That too adds to the pain for Shanara. Helena Pugh writes, the reality was so disappointed on so many levels. The parents were failed years ago by a clearly broken system that focused on them and the mother's age more than it did on a baby who had been stolen virtually from her mother's arms. Another side of the argument there, Shanara found out she was pregnant at 15 years old. She had the baby at 16. Yes, she was young, but there are a lot of young teenage moms out there who are making it work. It's a reality. It's a child that you love. You're going to do what you have to do. So back to this movie that's coming out again on Lifetime. I was looking through the actual trailer, looking at it, and I just got chills. I said, wow. And then they used the term ripped from the headlines. It certainly was, because this was such a huge deal for us here in Jacksonville. It still is. We were so grateful to know that after all of those years, 18 years, this baby girl was not just alive, but she was well, treated well from what we've seen, because we all know this could have had a much different ending. I want to go back a little bit to some of the things that I remember from our interview. I remember talking to Kamiyah about her three mothers, because it was so confusing to me to know that she is spreading herself so thin. So she has Shanara, who's her biological mom. She calls her mom, she told me. There is her stepmother, Craig Aiken's wife. She calls her mom as well. And then we have her kidnapper, Gloria, who she calls mom. So I said, do they answer to the same thing? She was like, yeah. She just calls everyone mom, and everyone answers to it. So a very odd situation. Another thing that I thought was interesting was her name. I wanted to be respectful, asked, what do you want me to call you? Are you Kamiyah? Are you Alexis? What are you comfortable with? And she was so nonchalant. Doesn't matter. In South Carolina, I go by Alexis. In Jacksonville, I go by Kamiyah. Because she said she answers pretty much to both. When she's at home and she considers South Carolina home, people call her Alexis, and that's what she answers to. Here in Jacksonville, we all know her as Kamiyah, which is what I refer to her as well. Now, back to the strained relationship between her and Shanara. I was so curious about that, because I remember that she had such a good relationship, it appeared, with her father, and I said, well, why are they so bonded? And it became clear to me that Craig was pretty much accepting of Kamiyah loving her kidnapper, right? Did he like it? No. But this is his child, and he wants a relationship with her, so he's willing to, turn a blind eye to that. Shanara, not so much. She's like, I'm your mom, you need to respect me, you need to not have contact with your kidnapper. But again, this is a young lady torn. I remember in the courtroom, she actually sat in the back of the courtroom. She did not want to choose sides, right? She didn't want to sit with the Aikens or with the Mobleys, Gloria's family, South Carolina. She just wanted to make everyone happy. And that kind of breaks your heart, because you think about this young lady who is just torn in different directions, in different places. What does she do? Again, these comments, I'm trying to get through as many as I can. I was wondering who am I to sit in judgment of this woman? No one knows what was going on through her mind at the time. Granted, what she did was awful and a crime. Yeah, it was awful and was a crime. So I don't know what was going through her mind. I could only go off of what she said, again, on the stand. She says that she recently had a miscarriage. She was in a tumultuous relationship, decided to hit the road from South Carolina on July 9th, late at night, and she drove her way into Jacksonville randomly. Got off the interstate, ended up at this hospital on July 10th in 1998. Went into the hospital room, befriended Shanara, who thought she was a nurse, and stole her child. So yeah, you might not want to pass judgment, but we kind of have an idea where her mind was. Gloria at the time, she was not well. I mean, you couldn't be well to steal someone's child. Someone's agreeing with Helena. If you see something, say something. So Helena's point pretty much was that so many people could have perhaps stepped in and helped Shanara 1, Gloria 2, Kamiyah as well. And you know, that's just an argument that you'll hear again and again and again. If you see something, say something. If you see someone's having an issue and you can possibly help them, go ahead and do so. But so many times we feel as if that's none of our business, let's not get involved. It's the wrong attitude to have, but sadly that's the way it goes sometimes. Again, I, like so many of you, am curious to see this movie, how it goes. I know Niecy Nash is playing Gloria Williams. She's such a strong actress. They have a lot of strong actresses in this movie, including the young lady who's playing Kamiyah as well. So it should be pretty interesting to see. And then there is a documentary ABC is putting together in conjunction with this Lifetime movie. As I said, I was interviewed for the documentary, so I'll be there as well, talking a little bit about this case. And continue to chime in. Let's talk about it. I want to hear from you as well. What are you thinking about all of this, the movie to come, the case itself? Oh, Kamiyah, by the way, I know a lot of you are curious about her. So she is still currently in South Carolina. She's working there, but she, just as she told me before when I spoke to her in 2017, I was told she still is on the same path. She does want to come back to Jacksonville, go to school here, and eventually get into social work. That's what she wants to do with her life. You know, she's young. Will that change? Who knows? But, you know, just wishing her, obviously, the very, very best. All right. Talk to you guys soon.